in America to play his first starring role in a feature film in Drop Dead Fred. He plays a character who exists only in the imagination of Phoebe Cates, who is, not surprisingly, going through an identity crisis. The film is advertised as a dark, bittersweet comedy about psychological liberation, which I suppose is a promising start. I mean, it's hard even to say psychological liberation without giggling. Anyway, Tom Brooke visited the location in Minnesota.
Marking.
And action.
This Minnesota soundstage represents an inner world, a peek inside the troubled mind of the leading character in Drop Dead Fred, a young American woman called Elizabeth, played by Phoebe Cates.
This is inside Phoebe Cates' head. And if you look around, you can see she must have a problem. She'll be checking into the Betty Ford clinic pretty soon.
Rik Mayall is Drop Dead Fred, Elizabeth's imaginary friend from childhood, who reappears at a critical moment in her adult life to guide her to sanity. Because Fred is mischievous, imaginary, and can only be seen by Elizabeth or other imaginary friends, the comic possibilities are endless.
Charlie! Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Sharp!
No panties! No panties!
Fred's really larger than life, you see. I don't think I'm a kind of Meryl Streep type actor, you know, who can make people weep just by raising an eyebrow that much, you know. Me, I brat about. But that's why it's good for me. That's why I seized on the ideas, because Fred's imaginary, so he can just be anything, and he can be over the top and loud and stupid and childish. So that means that I can be me and hopefully not make a mistake.
Well, what does that taste like?
American film critics weren't too impressed with Rik Mayall's performance, but Phoebe Cates thought that he demonstrated considerable talent.
It's not just what he does really well, which I've seen from some of his shows and stuff, which is that manic, high-energy stuff. There's a lot of that, but there's also, he's really been very brave about finding the other levels.
Yes, I do.
As you can tell, Drop Dead Fred is far more than just a straightforward comedy film. It moves into the realm of fantasy and explores some quite deep issues, such as the nature of parent-child relations.
This is about a young woman who has been unable to come to terms with her relationship with her mother and has projected fantasies into and her aggression into this character, this imaginary friend.
Can we talk about when I was little?
We haven't got time for that. We have to get you back with Charles, and I'm the one to do it now. Let's go.
Essentially, Fred operates as Elizabeth's alter ego, encouraging her to break away from her hostile mother and womanizing husband to forge her own identity.
He's her masculine side, I think. The aggressive side of her, the side that she's scared of, the side that she leaves up to her mother and to her husband. I think he represents what she would really like to be doing.
If we do the point of view here, we can have the car immediately here.
The film's Dutch director thinks the story of personal liberation that unfolds in Drop Dead Fred gives the film contemporary relevance.
Thematically, it's like a young person, a young woman who liberates herself and stands up for herself, instead of still being restricted in the way that society has done for such a long time.
All the characters in the film are living lives based on received ideas, how to live, and that's why they're unhappy. That's why they're lonely as well, because they don't know themselves. They don't know who they are. They're just living, like I think a lot of us do. You know, think, oh, that's the thing to do. You know, I'll live my life like that. Rather than actually looking at it's quite an American idea, though, isn't it? Looking in on yourself to find out who you are and then deciding how to live after that process.
The deeper psychological threads of Drop Dead Fred remain in the subtext. On the surface, the film can be enjoyed as slapstick, in which a manic Rik Mayall steals the limelight. Unless, of course, he's being upstaged by other imaginary friends.
Drop Dead Fred opens here on October the 11th, but now here's the latest movie news.